Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 5th episode of the Women Behind Anime and Manga podcast, bringing anime to America. As always, I'm your host, Valerie, and I can't believe I'm already on my 5th episode. Never in my life have I imagined that I would be hosting a podcast, so this has been a crazy ride. I can't believe we're on our 5th episode, and I still have more to come. If you have been following me on this journey, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. But last episode, I introduced Hiromu Arakawa, her mangas, and the topic of hiding one's gender identity in the manga industry. So if you missed that, be sure to go back and check it out. For any returning listeners, welcome again. I missed you. For this episode, we will be highlighting our first American women on the podcast, who plays many roles within the anime industry. We will be talking about Colleen Clinkenbeard, her career, and her impact on female empowerment within the industry. So without further delay, let's dive right in. So Colleen Clinkenbeard was born April 13th, 1980 in Louisiana, USA. She works for the anime dubbing company Funimation in a variety of roles. She is a voice actress providing dubs for anime. She's an ADR director, line producer, and a script writer working on the translated and adapted scripts. She first started working in the anime industry around 2003 as a voice actress, and I believe an ADR director. And as you can probably guess from the roles that she's played at Funimation, her career really branched out and skyrocketed. For her first anime series, Kitty Grade, which aired in 2004, Colleen played her first lead role, and at the same time, she was credited as an ADR director for the show. For anyone who may not know, ADR stands for Automated Dialogue Replacement, which is just another fancy technical term for dubbing. And as an ADR director, she works on the re-recording of shows and even helps coach the voice actors in the booth in order to produce the sound the directors are envisioning for the character, and so the voices can fit the animation timing-wise and expression-wise. I actually watched a video where she was recording with and directing fellow co-stars of My Hero Academia, and hearing her notes from the booth were really intriguing to listen to. I remember her kind of coaching co-star Justin Briner, who voices Deku, kind of coaching him saying, hey, can you say this line a little bit more, punk so it fits this animated face? And it was just really interesting to hear. It seems like a really difficult position, but it also seems really fun. I will also explain now that a line producer is sort of a second to the overall producer. They help hire the crew and allocate budgets for the show, so they're fairly high up in the production team, and that's kind of just an overview of those two positions, since I feel like voice actress and scriptwriter are, they speak for themselves. But anyway, here's a breakdown of some of her roles. When it comes to voice acting, she has an impressive list of dubbed roles. She plays the leading man Luffy in One Piece, which is a highly successful shonen series. Some other roles she is most known for are Momo Yaoyorozu in My Hero Academia, Ezra Scarlet in Fairy Tail, and Riza Hawkeye in both of the Full Metal Alchemist animes. As an ADR director, she has worked on shows such as Kitty Grade, Case Closed, My Hero Academia, and the Full Metal Alchemist series. She was both an ADR director and a line producer for High School DxD and Steins Gate, and for some of her credits as a scriptwriter, she was credited as a scriptwriter for Full Metal Alchemist, Samurai 7, and Crayon Shin-chan. And these are all highly popular and well-known series, so it's really impressive to see. Even if you haven't seen some of these shows, you definitely have heard of them. They're some of the biggest names. I highly recommend looking her up on your own time and seeing what else she has worked on, because her resume is truly something else. One of the reasons I really wanted to cover Colleen is that she was the first female director at Funimation, and that's kind of what made her important to highlight, in my eyes at least. She touches on this in an interview conducted by Megan Peters on comicbook.com. I will add a link to the interview in the description below, so feel free to check it out and read whatever I don't cover in today's episode, because there were a lot of interesting questions and answers. Anyways, diving right in, When asked about any challenges faced as a woman working in the industry, she mentions that there was a, quote, definite feeling of breaking into a male-dominated industry, end quote, since she was the first female director at the company. She gives lots of credit to producer Justin Cook, who ensured that she had a place there, and he didn't assign her strictly to shoujo or female demographic animes, while leaving the shonen male demographic shows to the male directors. She was given a fair opportunity at both, and he did a really good job of reassuring her that, she will have multiple opportunities as a director there. One interesting comment she made was about how the industry was more welcoming to women, but it's the anime fandom community that had an issue with women working as a director, and that's what kind of caught me by surprise. I always say that the industry was the complicated system, and it wasn't so much the fans were the ones upset or reluctant to the idea of a woman director or writer in the anime industry. But Colleen said, quote, I think the industry has embraced the feminine voice and female leadership with open arms over the last decade or so, and I've never felt much pushback as more and more women take on roles in production or become household names in dubbing. It's been less wholehearted in the fandom, unfortunately. There have been some holdouts in the anime fandom community who would like to keep anime a male-dominated genre, made by and for men. I find it's often the male voice actors, directors, producers, writers who push back and make way for the women they work with. We have some amazing advocates working among our coworkers and castmates. Hopefully, as that mindset grows, it will start to flow into the social media consciousness and become a way of life rather than a topic for debate, end quote. And with that last bit, I couldn't have said it better myself. I personally have had some unpleasant interactions with anime fans. I make other anime content on some social media platforms, and almost every time I've made content about a shonen series, I get a lot of hate from male anime fans. A lot of people within the community, mostly guys, they really, some, not all, but some have had an issue with female fans. They think, you're not a real fan, you don't know, what you like, you're just doing this for attention, and it's just really crazy to see. So kind of hearing her comment on it was definitely true. I always thought, with some of the other things that I've researched, it seems like the industry might have had an issue with women, but yeah, it does seem like it's kind of just the outside community. So now that I remember my personal experiences and given it much thought, I agree with her that it's no longer an industry issue, at least in present day, but it's still media and kind of the society around it. But she continues to further comment on female directors in the industry by saying, quote, the slowest aspect of change in the industry was in seeing women as a voice of authority. The idea that women can be experts in a field and established voices of knowledge about any given topic, end quote. This was in reference to a question asking what has been an empowering thing for women in anime or the anime community. So yeah, she started off as one of the first directors at Funimation, and she slowly grew, and there have been other women who have stepped into these leading roles. So she kind of just touched upon how it was really slow to see the change, but as they are given this opportunity to become a voice of authority, it has been really empowering to see. The last comment that I wanted to share from this interview is a really great one for any female listeners out there. Colleen was asked, quote, do you have any advice for young women who are wanting to work in the anime industry, end quote. So I wanted to share her tips for you all, since the main purpose of this podcast was kind of to encourage other people to pursue their dreams if they wanted to work in the anime industry or entertainment industry in general. So Colleen answered, quote, don't pigeon your hole. Whoa, sorry, gotta restart that. Colleen answered, quote, don't pigeonhole yourself by saying you want to work in the anime industry. If you want to be an actor, act in anything you can find to act in. If you want to be in production, look for PA roles in every avenue of media. If you want to create your own content and find places to share it and people to create with. We're all here to tell stories and help others get their stories told. There are hundreds of ways to be a part of that, either at Crunchyroll or elsewhere, end quote. And I think that was really inspiring and great advice. It kind of inspired me personally to put myself out there as someone who would love to work in the entertainment industry, and I think this can be applied anywhere. Just if you want something, go find any opportunity you can find and just do it. And that's kind of just where I wanted to end things, so that's where we're gonna wrap up everything I wanted to cover for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed listening. Definitely check out the interview below and anything else you may find on Colleen Clinkenbeard. I've seen many interesting videos and I've read additional interviews with her, and she's truly just an incredible woman. She's really fun to listen to. So definitely check her out. Next time, we will be flying back to Japan to discuss the director Naoko Yamada and her career history. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. This is Valerie signing off.